Dumelang bagaetsho, I'm Tebogodi Tinti. Welcome to Time with T. Thank you so much for choosing to spend time with me. I was watching a documentary the other day on one of these streaming platforms, and they were talking about the global movement for women, your Me Too's and your Am I Next. And another woman on there was talking about a hashtag that she started called I Believe You. And she said that she started it because she wanted to let women know that whenever they are ready to tell their stories, she's going to believe them, because she found that a lot of women do not tell their stories because they are scared, or they know and they believe that nobody is going to believe them. So in her starting hashtag I Believe You, she received many stories from women who wanted to share. When somebody says I believe you, it really does mean a lot. And I was talking about it on my page. I shared it just to say, you know, whenever you're ready to tell your stories, is because it resonated with me. I have been in a position where I wanted to tell a story and I knew that I was not going to be believed. So it is very important. It makes you feel safe to know that there is somebody out there who does believe you, no matter who they are. So I wrote a post on my page and I said, and I received an inbox from a lady who wanted to remain anonymous, so we shall call her Anoni. So I received an inbox from Anoni, and she said, I hope you are well. I saw your post and I would like to share my story with you. Just like that. So, and immediately, without hesitation, I responded with my WhatsApp number, and then she WhatsApped me. She's like, hey, it's me, you know, Anoni. I don't want to mention her name. I don't want to make that mistake. I won't. We started chatting, and then she borderline started telling me her story. Like, can you imagine needing a stranger to talk to, because there are people maybe in your circle who might not believe you, or you don't feel comfortable. Also, we don't like sharing our deepest, darkest with people who know us, because stop judging us. Stop judging us. So I lent her an ear, and then as she was talking, she went straight into it, and I was so shocked. But then I also got a sense of, hey, Batong, how many women are out there who are willing to open up to a stranger like this with such serious information? So anyway, we decided to, I asked her, do you want to do a video call, because I want to see you, and I'm going to talk about your story. I'm not going to talk about you. I'm going to talk about your story and share it, but obviously keep your name out of it. And whenever you're ready, then you can reveal your identity. And then she said, yes, absolutely. I'm going to be Anoni for now. And I like that. I like that very much. For now. Anonymous for now. You know, and I did read a quote back some time ago, and it says Anonymous was a woman. I cannot believe it. All of these nice phrases that we read in these little packets or this and that, and then at the end it says Anonymous. Anonymous was a woman. So we set an appointment, and then we sit down for a chat. But now listen to this. So we video chat, and then in her sitting down, she's coming straight from the gym. She's like, I just came home from the gym. She's still in her gym gear, and she has like a cute little bottle of shakes. She's like, it's like a green shake, whatnot, because she's staying healthy. And then she apologizes. She's like, I'm sorry I look like such a mess. I just came from the gym. And I'm like, girl, if you are apologizing for looking like a mess as good as you look, then hell, I owe you more than an apology, because, you know. So, and then I ask her, I'm like, it's in the middle of the day, and you're just coming home from the gym. What do you do? And then she says, I am a stay-at-home mom, but without kids. Right? My facial expression was enough to make her want to explain that to me, because the confusion, I was like, what, you're a what? You're a what now without a what? You know, to qualify to call yourself a stay-at-home mom, it's the kids. You know, it's the kids. It's like saying I'm a housewife, but you're single. Like, so you're just a house person. You're a housewoman, not a wife. So when you say you're a stay-at-home mom without kids, and I'm like, so that means you're a stay-at-home woman. And then she's like, no, Teboka, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And I'm like, okay, this is where I need to grab my coffee and really relax because it's gonna get juicy. And then she really does not hold back. So she explains to me how it happened that she is a stay-at-home mom without kids. She was born in the early 80s, and she is a Leo. And I thought that was important. I don't know why, but yeah, she's a couple of years. No, not a couple. She's older. She is a few years older than me, and she has given birth to 4 children, and given birth to 4 children that she has had to give up. Now she is the second of 3 siblings, né? And then she grew up in, a nuclear family. Everything was just going well. However, her first childhood memory, she says, wait, because I wrote this down. She says, my first childhood memory is me screaming. And then as she says this, she holds her throat. So she says to me, my first childhood memory is me screaming. Almost like she can feel her throat hurt from that screaming. And then she takes a deep breath, and obviously I ask her, why were you screaming? And then she says that my throat hurt so bad from all the screaming that I wanted to do, that I wanted to touch her, but I couldn't because he had pinned me down, he was holding me down, pinning me on with my hands. He was pressing her down on the bed with her hands, and then she was screaming, and then her throat was hurting. And as she's telling me this, she's busy doing this, so you can tell that it's almost like for a quick second she went to that moment. And then as she was just collecting herself, I asked her, I said, have you spoken to anybody about this? And then she said no. And I could tell because of her body language. It was almost, it read to me, even through a screen, it read to me like that she was talking about this for the very first time. So even her face changed. Her whole entire demeanor changed. She went from a confident woman that was just sitting down with me from a chat, who comes from the gym feeling all good, to a 6-year-old that was screaming. So from the tender age of 6, Anoni was introduced to sex by her uncle, Malumachach, meaning her mother's brother, because they were all staying together at the time. So she remembers that in the first year she was not going to school. I think at 6 she was not going to school. So as soon as her mother left for work, Malume would get into the bed. And during the day, towards the afternoon, when other older kids were coming back from school, then Malume would have had her way with her, and she thought that this was the norm. And then when she starts at school, she remembers that this was something that she had to do every morning when she goes to school, and the first thing she has to do when she comes home from school. So this was happening twice a day, every day, for as long as she can remember. And then she also recalls that it stopped as soon as she started getting her period, and she is not sure at what age that was, but then it's either between 12 and 13. She remembers that even when she started her period, she didn't know what periods were. She just started bleeding, and then she thought, oh, it's happening again, because that would often be the case. When she was much younger, she would bleed, and then, you know, Malume would say, because Malume knew what was going on, and then he knew that she was not getting her periods yet. So when she was bleeding at the time, Malume knew, oh, it's because, you know. So, but then when she started getting her periods, she thought that it was the same thing, but then Malume could now smell. She said that he told her that you don't smell like a child anymore, so this is not gonna be fun, you know, somewhere along those lines. And then this hurt Hanoni. And she says, and she's saying this while with her eyes getting a little steamy. She says that this hurt me because she took away my childhood, and now he's telling me that I'm not a child anymore, so this is not going to be fun. So he stops something that she had gotten so she got so used to it that it was part of the plan. It was part of her daily life, and it was taken away just like that, and she didn't understand that. And not to say she wanted it, never to say that she ever wanted it. She just didn't understand. She's like, oh, so you're gonna damage me, and then when I'm extremely over damaged, then you're just gonna discard me like that. And then she felt like, you know what, I'm never gonna amount to anything anyway. And you know, when you reach your teenage years, you really start to, your hormones develop differently, but obviously hers were fast-tracked because of this Malume. And that's when things changed for her. She thought that she wanted a man around. She wanted to keep having sex because she's been having it since she was 6. So it didn't make sense to her at the time why she was not having sex, and that's how she ended up with 4 children, and that she gave 4 children that she gave birth to. She had 7 abortions during all this time, and then she had 4 miscarriages according to her calculations. And when she speaks about this, there's a shift, there's a defense that she now puts on. She's like, this happened. And fast forward, she became a sex worker. She started making money out of sex. She dropped out of school. Her life just took a different turn. And then later on in life, her oldest child was 10. The firstborn was 10. The second they were all just 2 years apart. And then she met somebody who said, well, you can live comfortably for the rest of your life. You don't have to struggle like this. Just sell me your kids. And she did. She sold her kids, and that's how she became a stay-at-home mom with no kids. She insists that she is still a mother. She insists that she watches her children grow. She is just not mothering them, and they make good money, and she gets a cut. And then she tells me that the way that her bank account is set up right now, she doesn't really have to work a day in her life. She's comfortable. She's not wealthy, but she's comfortable. And every month she gets a chunk of change, and she gets to do whatever she wants and go to the gym in the middle of the day, on a Friday, on a Wednesday, on a Thursday, any day of the week that she chooses. And she does what she does, and I asked her, how does it make you feel? And why did you agree to sell your kids? And she says that she's always been afraid that she is going to be like her mother, be so ignorant and not see that your child is being molested by somebody, you know, be so ignorant that you lose touch with your children, that you have kids that you don't know, because she says that her mother didn't know her. I can believe that. I can believe that. To have your child go through something like this and you have no idea, that means you don't know your child. And she was also afraid that somebody was going to harm her kids in her presence, so she'd rather remove them from her presence. And I said, but why, if you've already had a number of abortions, why didn't you have abortions? Why didn't you have your tubes tied? Why were you not preventing? Why were you not doing any of these things? And then she said that subconsciously she wanted kids. She wanted to be a better mom than her mom, and she wanted to protect her kids and give them a better life than she had, and this is the only way that she knows how to do it. And I told her, I said, don't you think you should go to counseling, because you need it maybe just a little bit? And then she says that she does not want to go to counseling because she committed a crime, and it's a crime that she's still benefiting from, and she doesn't want to implicate herself in anything. The amount of pain that she goes through on a daily, I can pretend to imagine it, but I can't. I can even say to a degree I understand what she's going through. I don't think I do. I don't think I do, and I don't think I ever will. But I know that there is somebody out there who knows exactly what she's going through, because when these things happen, it's not just one person. It didn't just happen to one person. There's always a crowd out there. There's always a tribe that has gone through the same or similar. And I wish her nothing but healing. I'm gonna keep in touch with her, and I really wish her strength. I really wish that someday she feels that she doesn't want to be a stay-at-home mom without kids. She wants to be a stay-at-home mom with her kids and bring them home. Yeah, life, guys. There are so many layers to Anoni's story, and like I said, I will keep talking to her. We're gonna keep in touch, and maybe I will come back and share some more about it. Maybe not, we'll see, because it was a very difficult story to hear. It's a difficult story, to talk about it now, and I can only imagine how hard it is for her to share it with me. So Anoni, like I said, I wish you nothing but the best, and I believe you. And thank you so much for trusting me with your story. And whenever you're ready to come out publicly, please know that you are not alone. You are not alone. If there is anybody out there who is dealing with something similar, be it any form of human trafficking, any form of abuse, any form of suffering, any form of mental illness, there is help out there. Please seek help. Even if it's just finding somebody to talk to, find anybody that you can trust and talk to them. Do not carry any burden of your story on your own. You are here for a reason. You are loved and you matter. I will see you next time on Time with T. Thank you so much for choosing to spend time with me.